I tasted iron the night I promised I wouldn't speak, not because I couldn't, but because a man decided my voice was a weapon he would take if I ever used it. And to keep my little girl alive, I nodded, wallowed the words, burning my throat, and let silence move in like an uninvited roommate. His name was Brent Vale. He said things softly, the way people tell bedtime stories, nice and calm while the threat sits between you like a knife on a table. And I believed him, because fear wears cologne and knows your schedule. 3 years later, I'm pushing a gray cart through Harrington Square in Riverton, Illinois, the kind of tower that smells like lemon cleaner and money, the city draped in glass outside my reflection, a woman who learned how to be invisible on purpose. You get good at it. Head down keys on a ribbon. Notes in your pocket. People see a uniform and forget there's a mind attached, and that's fine. Minds are safer when nobody's poking at them. Floor 38 is Cole Harrington's floor. The name on the biggest door, the billionaire who built half the skyline. Not what I expected, though. No entourage sometimes. Shoes off under the desk, a silver frame with a kid's picture, and a crooked paper crane made from a trading report. I wanted to straighten the wing, I didn't. One night his son Jace is there, 8 years old, stubborn mouth trying to pretend he isn't tired on a leather couch. And around 11 he wakes up with that quiet cry kids do when they've run out of words. "Where's Mom?" he says. And I see the way Cole's face cracks right down the middle, even while he's steadying his voice. I set my duster down, pull a sticky pad, draw a tiny flashlight, and write light. Please, then I use my phone lamp against the wall and make shadows. A crane with a careful beak. A bear. A little boy with a stick. Sword the crane bows. The boy laughs, his breathing evens out. And I swear you can hear the whole office exhale with him. Cole mouths, "Thank you." I tap my throat and flatten my palm. A quiet sign he doesn't push, and on his desk I leave a note. Your boy is brave, he just needs to feel safe. Some of us learn early how to find light in dark rooms. 2 nights later, my phone rattles at 2:12 a.m. Unknown number, I almost ignore it. Then a voice says, "Dr. Park from Rivers Children's. Jace is here with an allergic reaction. He asked for his dad. He also asked for the lady who makes the paper birds. And I don't even remember grabbing my coat. I just remember running. ER light is too bright to breathe in. Jace is propped on pillows with tape on his arm, and a face puffy from panic. Cole looks 10 years older than yesterday. I lift the lamp, no paper, just hands telling a story on a curtain. A boy in a storm, a forest that isn't as scary. When a flock of cranes arrives, the cranes shelter him until he's safe, and the monitors keep their steady beep like a metronome for hope. Cole whispers, "How did you—" I shake my head, right parent's secret slide it to Jace. The kid smirks with one corner of his mouth and slides into sleep, and for the first time in years, I feel my own mouth remember how to smile. After that, Fridays get a habit. Cole pretends he needs to read quarterly reports, late. Jace pretends he needs to show me another drawing. I pretend I'm there for the windows and the view. And somewhere in the pretending, the three of us start telling the truth in small ways. Coffee with cream left on a desk, a blueberry muffin, and a note that reads, "No pressure. Just thanks cranes taped to a cleaning cart like flags in a quiet parade." At home above the laundromat, my daughter Nova demands crane stories too, her toes always out from under the blanket. That kid was born trusting the air to be kind, and when she sleeps, I sometimes whisper her name with no sound, just to feel my throat remember. There's a door it can open if it has to. The twist came on a cold Saturday, at Pierce Park picnic basket, kids racing to the climbing structure, the kind of afternoon that tastes like apples and feels like the world. Forgot to be cruel for an hour. And I'm the quiet perimeter, like always counting rungs under my breath, watching Jace climb too fast, telling myself not to call out, because calling out is a currency. I stopped spending. His sneaker slips on a damp bar, that slick rubber kiss, and the whole world tilts. I don't think I run, and my chest cracks open like ice in a thawing river, as his name rips out of me, Jace, loud and raw. And mine, he snatches a lower bar, slams into it. Hard, lands on mulch, shocked. But okay. And I'm on my knees, shaking with a throat that feels scraped by gravel, my voice ringing between the trees like it just remembered we're alive. Cole is there in 2 strides, hands on his son, counting invisible injuries. Nova is at my side, patting my shoulder like a tiny nurse. And the fear I've kept contained comes back as heat, fast and suffocating. Not just because I spoke, but because I broke a promise a dangerous man built into my bones. Later at Cole's place, kids in pajamas, popsicles, and a movie I tell him enough to understand the shape of the monster. Brent's smile, the rules he wrote for my body, the texts from blank numbers on Nova's birthday, with grainy photos of a daycare door, or the back of my head at a bus stop, the way he stands just inside the law and spits over the line. Cole doesn't lecture. He listens so hard, I can feel the listening, warm my skin, and then he says one thing, slow and careful. Let me help, and I say, you have a son, this isn't your fight. And he looks at me like a person looks at a bridge they've decided to cross and says, it is now. 3 days later, a call comes at 9:03 p.m. A voice like winter nice routine you've got. Mr. Harrington, ice building. Nice kid. Saturday soccer at 9, then the line dies and we trade pretending for a plan. Documentation becomes piles, screenshots with labels. A domestic violence attorney with a storm in her eyes. A detective who's seen this movie, a restaurant with cameras everywhere and a lunch rush loud enough to hide a mic. And I hate every second. But fear and love are twins, and the brave one is tired of waiting. Brent wants me home like I'm a coat he left at a bar. He wants Nova. He wants the silence back in his pocket. And the day of the meet, my little girl strings a blue bead bracelet on my wrist and says, for brave Jace ties a string around his and declares, now we match, and I breathe in, breathe out, walk. The restaurant smells like garlic and new money. Brent slides into the chair across from Cole, like he owns the oxygen. He leans in, call her, tell her she's coming home today, stop playing husband. Cole's jaw works once, but he doesn't bite. She doesn't belong to you, and Brent smiles without his eyes. Everything belongs to someone. I walk in then legs, soft voice, new cameras watching, and I don't sit. I stand where the light is and say, clear as the line on a stop sign. I'm not your girl. I don't belong to you. I belong to myself. People look up from their salads. A woman sets down her fork. Brent blinks, resets. Watch your mouth, he says, and my hands shake under the table, so I lace my fingers together and pin them. No. I'm done watching it. You threatened me, you stalked me, you sent men to my window. You texted pictures of my child. You taught me to be quiet. I'm done being your good student. He stands, the chair screeches. He says the line he shouldn't say in a room full of microphones. I'll end you and anybody who stands between us, and that's it. Badges appear like a magic trick. Bracelets click on his wrists and he tries to smirk his way out, while the whole place goes quiet enough to hear ice shift in a glass. Justice isn't a straight line. You know what I mean? It winds, it stalls. It takes the long way home, and the court part takes months because paper has to travel and calendars have to kiss. Brent's lawyers try on deals like suits. But the detective doesn't blink, the prosecutor bags. My sticky notes as exhibits. The judge listens, and in the meantime, Cole shows up. Packs lunches, walks Jace to soccer, learns yes and no in ASL. so we can talk across rooms. When my voice goes small after hard days, he doesn't fix me. He stands next to me while I fix myself, and yeah, that happened. Brent takes a plea years. You can count on two hands. A no-contact order with teeth-mandatory counseling. The kind of parole that buzzes when you breathe wrong. And people ask, that's it. And I get why it doesn't feel like enough stacked against silence that stole 3 years from a woman's throat, but here's what enough looks like to me: Nova sleeping with both feet out because she trusts the night, Jace dribbling a ball and glancing over to make sure I saw the move. He practiced my voice ordering coffee on a Tuesday because it wants to me changing my last name because I chose it, not because anyone stamped ownership on me. We have a small wedding on a rooftop, the river pretending to be a ribbon lemon cake, bad dancing, 2 kids taking their jobs as ring bearer and flower girl way too seriously. And I say simple vows because simple fits me now. I thought silence was a shelter. It was a cage. You were the light under the door. Thank you for holding it open until I walked through. That should be the bow, right neat and tidy, except life doesn't wear bows. And 2 weeks ago, a bland letter arrived about a parole hearing. Someday sooner than I. Reflected a woman breathing faster than she wanted. Cole stood close without touching and waited for my nod. Then wrapped me up and we stood like pillars that learned to lean. I will speak at that hearing not because the system only works if I do, but because my voice is mine and it isn't for rent. And if you ask me what justice is, I'll tell you it's moving. Sometimes you chase it. Sometimes it chases you. Sometimes you link arms with people who refuse to let go and drag it inch by inch into the light. Now it's your turn. Is silence ever protection, or just a cage we decorate? Is it fair that money speeds up safety when safety should be a right? What does real justice look like? Where you live, not TV justice, the kind that tucks kids in and lets mothers breathe. Tell me in the comments. Push back. If you need to share what you've seen, and if this gave you a little courage, like and subscribe, pass it to someone who needs a hand in the dark. And remember this part. Most of all, your voice is still yours, and you belong to yourself always.